It is a beautiful day here in West Palm Beach, and I am about to meet up with my girl Tiffany Vendries from Tiffany Travels so that we can have a little chit chat about Jamaica versus America from the scope as someone who, me born and grow Jamaica, lived there all 40 plus years of my life. And Tiffany is, I think she's lived here in America all her life. However, she does have Jamaican heritage. And so we had quite a cute little conversation about, what it is like to live here in America versus living in Jamaica, as we both explore where we would want to live or retire when that time comes. But of course, you can't have no conversation without food. So first we stopped at Island Style Bakery, where we got patties, and this is what they had on their menu. She got raisin bread and cocoa bread and big spice bun, small round bun, and all kind of island flavored juices. I got a soursop juice, and then of course we left to go back and have our Walipa conversation. So I really hope you enjoyed today's chit chat. Put it on podcast style, just put it on in the background and weigh in the comments with anything you might agree with or disagree with, any commentary you might have. Please leave them down below. So let's get right into it with me, Monique from Kingston, and your girl Tiffany Vendries. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm eating a spicy beef patty from Island Bakery, or I'm about to dig in. And I'm back with Tiffany from Tiffany's Travel. Tiffany Travels. Tiffany Travels.
Tiffany Travels. Hi.
Tiffany says she likes these patties.
They're pretty good. They were spicy. The last time I had it, I had chicken. This time it's beef with cheese. And it's a bakery. They have really nice baked goods. So they have toto. They had raisin bun, sweet bread, gazada. Oh, and what was it? Cornbread? Corn roll.
And I got a soursop drink and a ginger beer that I have in the bag for Munchkin. This crust is interesting.
It's flaky.
It has a weird taste. Wait, let me try it some more. There's something bitter hitting the back of my throat and I don't know what it is. I mean, I know, but the spice is good. Remember in the Dutch Pot restaurant, the video, I kept complaining that there was no spice in the food. So I like that they had mild and spicy patties.
Yeah, this one is definitely spicier. And I got mild.
So Tiffany and I are going to talk today about, hopefully I don't have flakes all over my mouth.
I know. I wore red lipstick too, and I'll be like, it's gonna stick. It's gonna stick the whole video. I'm gonna have something orange right over here.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some differences between here and Jamaica. And here being right now in Florida.
Yeah, we could start with education. So is education free in Jamaica?
Yes, up to high school. I mean, of course, you have private institutions as well.
Okay.
So like my daughter went to prep school, and the way they differentiated, I think, primary school is free. Those are government schools. Prep schools, you have to pay, and those are usually run by churches.
Okay.
And you have to pay a pretty penny for some of them. But then when my daughter went to high school in Jamaica, that was government run. Most of even the good ones are government run, so that was free, because you still have to pay some fees and stuff. But it was a drastic difference between the prep and the high. It's free and it's good education. I like the quality of the education, I think, from the Jamaican system.
So the ones that are public, do they wear the uniforms as well?
Both public and private institutions wear uniforms.
Okay. Because my mom went to Immaculate Conception. That is a private institution or that public?
That's a government.
Oh, it is.
It's a church run, but still in the government system, so it's free. And one of the better all-girls school.
Okay, so in the States, we have public school, we have private school, and then sometimes you might find kind of like an in-between, like a charter school, which is not really private. It's not the same as a public school, but you would never find an all-girls public school, like that, like Immaculate Conception in Jamaica. If you were to see an all-girls school here in the States, it's a private school. It is, thousands of dollars per year, and it's usually a religious school, so some Christian school. Our public schools, some of them have a dress code, like they'll have colors like maroon or blue or green, but it's not heavily enforced, so you still see kids wearing, sometimes they'll have like dress code is khaki, so they'll wear like khaki shorts or khaki pants, but you never have a uniform at a public school.
Okay.
And then our public schools, they're funded locally, so they pull from the area. So if you have an area where it's an affluent area, then the school is going to be an affluent school. Their honors is going to be more rigorous. And if you have a school in a lower income area, it's pulling from the area. So sometimes you might find students that are not as prepared. They don't have the foundational skills sometimes. And charter schools are also sometimes private funds, sometimes public funds, but they are a little different in their curriculum. They have a little bit more flexibility in their curriculum as to what they can provide for students.
Okay.
Our private schools vary in costs. They could be like we're in Florida. In Florida, there are schools like King's Academy, which is $23,000 for kindergarten. And we have schools that are like $30,000 a year. In fact, Donald Trump, his son, the last one, what's his name?
Barron? Is that
Barron? He went to school out here in Palm Beach. So I think that school is in the $30,000 range a year. So our private schools down here are expensive. On the lower end, you would see $10,000.
On the lower end.
I haven't really seen anything for less than that. I've looked around. So yeah, kindergarten can be like $13,000, $14,000 for the more reasonable schools. At the higher schools, you're in the $20,000, $30,000 sometimes.
The most expensive school I have come across in Jamaica is called the American something School of Kingston. The American International School of Kingston, AISK. I think that's what the AISK means. So it's an American school.
Okay.
And so it charges American dollars.
Okay.
I guess it's for expats who, work in Jamaica and they want their kids to continue the American curriculum or whatever. And I want to say it goes up to maybe $5,000. But it starts at maybe like $5,000 for like kindergarten. And it goes up based on the grade that your child is in. I don't remember what the most expensive year is, but I want to say it's like $8,000. So it's not 23, but it's in Jamaica, so it's still like
really pricey
up there. So yeah.
Yeah, so those are Florida prices. There are other states like New York that have more private schools, and so therefore they're cheaper, like supply and demand. So there's more supply, and then so therefore they're cheaper. So when I went to school in New York, private school, my middle school was like $2,500. My high school was like $5,000, but that was 20 years ago. So probably the high school might be $10,000 or so, and the elementary middle school would probably be in the thousands, like $5,000 or so. But down here there's not as many as there is up there. Like up there, almost every church provides like a small little private school, and down here there's not as many, so they're more expensive.
So back in my day, it used to be a thing where we would say the quality of the education in Jamaica is superior to the American standard. They would always compare that when Jamaican students migrate, they're far further ahead than whatever grade that they're assigned to, and so they would like skip a grade or stuff like that. I'm not quite sure that the standard is still that now today,
But that is one of the reasons why I have always said I wanted my child to be educated in Jamaica. Today, if I were to fast forward to some of the reasons why I would still choose having her educated in Jamaica as opposed to America, is I wanted to learn Black history and I wanted to learn Jamaican history, and especially, but I realized that Black history is being, you have to make an effort to learn Black history here. It's not going to be taught in schools, and they're kids. They're not going to make that effort unless you, the parent, sit on them. You know what I mean? And so I just think that it's, especially because I know that she might do college somewhere else, I think I like the idea of giving her a Jamaican, a Caribbean, a West Indian foundation, that she knows that history there, and then she can learn other education elsewhere. You get what I'm saying? It's a more diversified knowledge base is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know the numbers now, the statistics of, you know, what they use to qualify a better education. But I guess for me, I think I would still want my child to be educated in Jamaica as a Jamaican, just because I want her to learn our history, our customs, our everything.
Yeah, I used to be a classroom teacher, and when we would see students come from other countries, the Middle East especially, and sometimes in the Caribbean, they were more focused. Like, they were just like, I had one kid take a test and he was literally sweating. Like, he was like I was like, oh my God, slow down, you don't have to rush. Like, he was like trying to finish as fast as he could, as accurate as he could. And then over time, he was in my class with other students that were just very relaxed. He started to relax. But yeah, we see students come over and they definitely have stronger foundational skills. Not every school,
Yeah.
but like the school I was teaching, they had stronger foundational skills. And in regards to the history, they are making efforts to remove certain aspects of African American history from our educational system, and they're threatening, they being the federal government, is threatening the local schools, the HSBCUs, and the elementary schools, the secondary schools, threatening them with funding, removing funding if they teach certain things like slavery. So they're calling them workers instead of slaves. Like, the workers came over. They were not workers.
At all. Guys, don't eat patty on the road. Pear flakes all over my frock.
I want my daughter to have educational experiences in other countries. But I really like her school as well. So I think she'll do that maybe in the summer or when she's a little older, where we can do certain programs where she can do 9 months abroad or the summers. To just get exposure to other methods, other ways of teaching, other countries, other customs, other cultures.
I will say that one thing that travel has, I guess, taught me or opened me up to, or maybe it's not even just a travel thing, because it's two parents living on two different island thing. My daughter goes to a boating camp every summer on the island where her dad lives, and I think that has been such an experience for her that I wish all kids had that opportunity. And so even if you don't do it in another country, it is nice to have the summers to do something else that's not even book educational, but teaching them something else, because now she's obsessed with being a boat captain and she wants to get her boat license. And she has taken to it so much, though, that it really makes me realize. And you know what? In prep school, I was always a mom who, anything you wanted to try. So she used to do football, and they didn't have a girls football team in Jamaica in her prep school. So she was the only girl on the field with the little boys. And she tried it for one semester, and you know, she didn't like it because she was the only girl after a while. But it's nice that she has continued to keep trying different things. And I think that as parents, that's something that we can foster in these kids, is like putting them in these different camps so that they learn different things, and then they can widen that knowledge base, as I keep saying.
Yeah, get more exposure.
Because in my little bubble, if I had just kept her in Kingston, she would not have gone to any boating camp anywhere, you know what I mean? So she's done drama camps and, you know, other summer things. Because I used to do drama camp as a child, and I wanted her to get that experience, and she loved it. But there would have been nowhere, or maybe there is a way, but I would not have thought of, like, let me try boating.
So, what about government? Are there multiple parties like there is here? Like, how does that work with your government?
It's sweet, sir. This is a sour sop juice drink, as they rightfully say, and it's sweet. Anyways, we have two main political parties, the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party. And this year is an election year in Jamaica, so tensions are high. There are independent parties that pop up every now and then. I don't remember the name of this third one that was running a few years back, a few election cycles back. But it's definitely between those two, the green and the red, the JLP and the PNP. I will say that, so the PNP is more like socialist and the JLP is more, I guess, not. But the JLP, so, you know, I'm coming from a Jamaica that was very, very corrupt. And very, like, government did not benefit people at all. There was nothing we would get. And I have grown up to see that the government has changed to be for the better. It's not the best. It's not corruption free at all. But it's certainly better, and we're actually seeing benefits of the programs that the government has implemented. And so for me, growing up seeing that, as someone who at 42, I have actually never voted before in Jamaica because I just didn't see the benefit, I'm excited to go back home and vote this year. Because I'm like, there is no way that other party can come back in. And I don't want the political people to start attacking me in the comments. But we can't go back. We just can't go back. We can't go back.
Which one is in power now?
The Green Party, Jamaica Labour Party.
The Labour Party, and that's the one that's more for the people, the Socialist Party?
No, that's not.
Oh.
So that's exactly. But I think the PNP, we were under a lot of corruption when I was growing up. And the corruption directly affected my family. The corruption directly affected a lot of people. Like, you know, sometimes you hear these big grand schemes and they seem airy-fairy because they're not directly affecting you. Their corruption directly affected the people. There are a lot of people who are stained by it financially. And so in my lifetime, I don't see, I mean, I'm not partisan. So I'm not going to always be this party or that party. I think because, you know, governments need a strong opposition. Mm-hmm. And I think if they had actually gone back to the drawing board and come with something sensible, then I could have given them a chance and say, okay, they've revamped and they're making sense now. But right now I don't see it. I see the party that's currently in power making strides, and I'm all for that.
Okay, in the US, we mostly have, two parties. There is an independent party, but they never win major general elections. It really comes down to our two parties. We have the Republican Party and we have the Democratic Party. And our states can be Democratic or Republican as well. So if you're in a Democratic state, you generally have more liberal. It's usually more in cities like New York or LA. They're going to be your more liberal Democratic cities. And you'll see a lot of policy in place that protects the people. In Republican states, you'll see less government involvement, and you'll see businesses are favored more. So to give you an easy example to understand, if you think about landlording, if you're in a Democratic state, it's going to be tenant friendly. There are going to be rules in place that your landlord has to do this in order to evict you. They're going to make sure that their tenant is not going to be out on the street in 30 days. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad.
Yeah.
You have landlords that are trying to evict and it takes them 9 months or sometimes a year and the tenant is not paying. So it is tenant friendly. If you're a tenant, it's going to be very difficult for you to be evicted. As long as you make an effort to pay, you don't even have to pay the full amount. If you just make an effort, it's going to be very difficult. As opposed to you go to a Republican state, it's landlord friendly. It's going to be on the side of the business. So it's going to be landlord friendly. So in those states, it's very easy to evict. You can do an eviction in 30 days.
Wow.
It's very quick. If they don't contest, 30 days and you're done. So it depends on the individual, which state would benefit them. And people move to Republican states to escape the taxes. So we have like a state like New York, New Jersey that has state taxes. So we have federal tax, we have state tax, and we have local taxes. Yeah, a state like New York, you're going to be paying a lot in taxes because you're paying 3 times. You have your federal, your state, and your local taxes. If a state like Florida, a state like Texas, there's no state taxes, so we just don't have it.
I saw a thing where Kentucky Fried Chicken is moving to Texas, and we were making jokes like it's gonna be Texas Fried Chicken. Oh, that's that. You know what? In Jamaica, one thing that we need that we don't have when it comes to voting, we're not able to vote for like. So you know how you have states and we have parishes in Jamaica. We can't vote for MPs, which are, it stands for Member of Parliament, because, you know, we follow the Westminster government, whatever. But the Member of Parliament is like, you know, the spokesperson for that area. And there are several, depending on, you know, how the parish is set up. But we can't vote for just the MP without voting for the president. And I think a lot of people want to do that, prime minister. And I think a lot of people want to do that. We want to be able to vote for an orange MP, but the green government.
Oh, they're linked. They're together.
Yeah, they're together. We can't do that. So where you can vote for like, yeah, we can, and that we would love to do that, because there are some MPs that are just not working and they need to be gone, but you vote for them still because you want the Green Party to win. You get what I'm saying now? Yeah. So I think though that the pressure is being put on by the people. Like we are saying that, you know, we want to see better representation. I don't know if it's because of my age, because maybe if I asked a 20-year-old, they would be as apathetic as I was when I was 20. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's because I'm suddenly so interested, because I feel like we are putting pressure on our government now to be like, we need to see these changes come about. But I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Or it could be a lot more, but I'm happy that there's movement. Back in the day, I would be like, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't voting, I ain't seen nothing. So, yeah. And also, as you spoke about Republican and Democratic, I think Jamaica is very conservative. So we would probably be very Republican, which is very sad, but it is what it is. I do think we are a very public nation.
Yeah, it's very conservative. When I talk to Caribbean people, they are not for, transgender rights or gay rights or LGBTQ anything. So, yeah.
Why for that?
Yeah.
We're so ignorant.
But I will say that population, what they teach us in education is that population of students has the highest suicide rate of any demographic of students.
That is true.
And so, you know, we can ignore it and we can, downplay it or look down upon them, but there are real consequences for doing that. And I feel bad.
And again, I do think that we're making strides, because we were once very violent towards the community. I would want to say that we are not so much anymore. Like they will still trouble them probably, and tease them and stuff like that. But I want to say that they're not going to just be openly violent towards anyone that they see in the community. Because the funny thing is that we have such a large LGBTQIA community in Jamaica as people who are opposed to it. And so I don't know how that works. But yeah, I really do want to say that we are much more supportive now than we were back then. But we have a long way to go.
What about, you had songs. There were songs.
There were songs.
I can't think of it, but it was
Boom Bye Bye.
It was like Boom
Bye Bye. It is Buju Ban's song.
Boom Bye Bye in a... Like, wow. And I was singing it too. Boom Bye Bye.
They sing it. Like the gay community sings it so loudly when they're in a party. I mean, they take it now as like a joke or whatever, because what are you going to do about the song? It was one of the most popular songs in dance hall. TOK has one as well that says no, not that one. I don't remember what it says right now, but there's another very, very popular one.
I think
not
Beanie Man
Chichiman,
has...
something about Chichiman.
Yes, that one. Yeah. What about like government services? Like here we have Social Security, or we have government loans for students. We have loans, even federal loans for housing. We have FHA, federal loans for housing. So Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare for people who are unemployed but still need some form of health care. But you have public health care.
We have public health care.
Really...
We have some services, and we have a lot more that's coming on stream in these last few years. So it's woefully lacking. Like my father is on well, I guess what you would call disability right now, and it's woefully lacking. The pension plan is not a livable wage at all, but there are plans in place. I don't know what it will take to make them more mainstream, but there are. We also have the all the names are slipping me right now. But we do have an agency that helps with home ownership, that gives you like a very, 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 very low interest loan at a certain cap.
Okay.
But it's also, again, the market prices for housing in Jamaica. It's like you're giving me this and the other price is this. So it's just like,
okay.
Yeah. But I guess you can use it to like buy land somewhere, or I don't know. So something that I want to talk about is the culture of America. There's a lot to be said about growing up here and experiencing the culture here as opposed to migrating here, I think. A question that I get often from my friends here in Florida is because I've been here now for about 3 months, they ask me if I wouldn't stay, if I don't like it enough, and I'm like, nope, I want to go back. And culture is a big part of it for me. I have a lot of friends in Florida because, the Caribbean, we like to migrate to Florida a lot. And a lot of my friends have come here. America's like a system where you get tied into the system and you can't leave. They come and they start to work. They get tied up in the credit system. So now a lot of them, they don't want to leave because they started this whole Social Security and they're like, well, I need to retire to get the Social Security funds and whatever. Some of them, they come and their lifestyle is work, home. Weekends, you do whatever, a few errands that you can manage, try to clean up your house, you go back, work, home. That is so not a culture that I'm used to. They're tired, they don't have time to do anything. They're not living any life. I'm like, and these are my friends, so I'm like, welcome to the life how we used to live a yard where we are going to party on a Tuesday night just because. That is that is not a thing. And I'm just like, so for me, it's because when you migrate, it's going to take a while for you to find your friends and your social group and stuff like that. So sometimes it takes years to even get into a social circle, and so your life just becomes work and home and kids. And so, it's one thing if you grow up here and you have your social units and you feel the culture. For me as a migrant, I would be like, there's no culture here, because where do I go? Where do I start? And that's what would be lacking for me, I think. Even in Mexico, you go to Mexico and you immediately feel culture. I'm not looking for it. Here, it's very systemized and everybody's like trying to make money. It just feels very constrained and very not fun. I am queen of fun.
Yeah, it's a work culture here in America. Our culture is hustle culture. Our culture is work culture. And like the lifestyle you're describing, where you just go out on a Tuesday just because, that was like college days. That was like college, or maybe just after a few years after college, where you're like, okay, let's go to the happy hour. Which place is happy hour? Where are we going? Where are we going to meet? Okay, where are we going to do brunch? And then repeat. But you know what it is having kids in America is exhausting, because we don't have a culture here where your grandparents are retired.
Yes.
So you don't have that help, because they're still working.
Yeah.
And then like the village in the US, we don't always stay where your family is.
Yes.
Because to where work opportunity is, to where economic opportunity is, to where housing is less expensive. So if you're in a place and your family's there, but you're in New York or you're in Miami or you're in Broward, it's very expensive because there's so many people there. So if you want to maybe build something for yourself, you move away from your family to another place where you can afford a home. So then you lose your village. So then you can't go out on a Tuesday night because who's
Yes,
gonna watch your
yes,
kids?
yes.
And or even if you could, even if you're free and you have the money, your mom might be working, or that other your sister, whoever might be working, or also tired.
Right.
So it's because we don't have a family focus here in the US, and what it leads to is two people, hopefully two people. Sometimes it's just one person.
Sometimes it is
Running a whole household.
Yes.
Sometimes just one person working, doing the childcare, doing the domestic chores, because it's very expensive to hire domestic help.
We are used to that in Jamaica. I can get a day's worker, is what we call them, to just come in and clean for a day. Some people will come in and just wash and iron. You know, it takes a load off. And though I realize that those things are very expensive here.
Yeah, so for a housekeeper for a day, maybe a few $100s.
That is crazy.
For a day.
That is crazy.
Definitely. Like so for somebody to come, if you know somebody and like they're an immigrant, or like you know somebody, they might charge you $20 an hour and you know them. So that could be a whole day as $140. Or if they come like 2 hours multiple times, it's gonna add up to $100 a month, hundreds of dollars a month. But if you're using a company, definitely it's not going to be $20 an hour. They're going to charge you more than that. They're going to charge you like $100 for 3 hours or something like that. So yeah, you have to be the economic provider, the child care, the domestic responsibilities, and then the social life. You're just too exhausted. Most people are just too exhausted, unless you're young, and you don't have a couple of those things. You don't have the child care, and you don't care about your house looking messy because you're 25. You're like, whatever.
I didn't even really think about that, but you're so right, because I had the luxury, the privilege, you know, I don't know all the words to call it, in Jamaica, where I would have a house cleaner coming every other week. And it was only 2 people in my house. So I would keep my house tidy, but I hired out for someone to come and deep clean every other week. And just that is such a luxury in Jamaica to be able to afford that, because I wasn't making no leap of money. Like, that is a very affordable thing in Jamaica, depending on what you have going on. And that would cripple me here to do that every other week.
It would be $300 at least. It would be $300 a month. Like, it'd probably be $150 every 2 weeks. But $300 a month in the US, you're like, okay, so now we don't have water. we are not gonna have water because I hired a cleaning person. So we don't use any lights and don't run any water. When the cleaning person comes, they can't use the water, but they're gonna, I don't know, sweep. But that's why. It's because my channel, Tiffany Travels, I interview people who are in Jamaica, who are in Mexico, who are in Africa, who are in like Italy, who are in Nairobi, who are in South America, and they have like all of these luxury conveniences. They have somebody come to their house to do their nails. That's unheard of.
I definitely had a nail person at one point.
Come to your house? That would be $100 at least. They have people come, doctors come to their house. They're like, I'm sick. The doctors come. That's not a thing here. You got to get your sick butt in the car, or have somebody drive you to the doctor's office, wait an hour to see them, and then get a prescription, take it to the pharmacy. Hopefully you have insurance. Okay, that's not the doctor coming to your house, not a thing. A cleaning lady, I talked to one person in where was she, in San Miguel de Allende. She had a cleaning lady, I think she wanted to say every day, if not like 5 days a week, like during the week. If more common would be maybe twice a week, and it's super affordable. Colombia, there's this one guy talking, he was saying it's $20 for the whole, or $30 for the whole day. Yeah, because
Colombia is really affordable
for the whole day.
For if you're working if you're making American dollars, Colombia is really affordable. But I didn't really even think about. And then for American culture, where it's hustle, work, you'd think that I can afford all of this because I'm making money, because that's what we're doing. We're working, and that's our goal and our focus. So it's crazy to me that we're working and we're making all this money, because the dream of so many of us third world countries is to make American dollars, but people making American dollars in America can't afford what we can afford in the third world countries.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. Cleaning lady, a nanny. I spoke to somebody, she's in Ethiopia. They have a full-time live-in person that helps them with the breakfast, that helps them get the kids ready, that helps them with the cleanup, get ready to bed, all of those things. None of those things the average American has. If you have a nanny, you're in the upper, your upper income. Okay, if you have,
most middle, even I would say, okay, maybe upper middle then, but I think most middle class families, especially if you're like a two income household, I think most families in Jamaica have at least some help. So a day's worker, families with children, so a day's worker who comes in, maybe they don't live there, but they come in every day, clean and look after the children, prepare for them when they come home from school, or they have at least help once a week to come clean.
Yeah. Yeah. For a full-time person, because there are Americans that have a nanny, but it's like 3 hours. It's like the one time where they can't find anybody, or the one time where they're like, okay, this person's busy, I can't I'm gonna hire a nanny. So it's like 3 hours here, 3 hours there. A full-time nanny, those are upper income.
Well, that answers my question. If I would want to like live here, I think America is fabulous for coming and spending some time. Like I love the convenience, I love the shopping, I love the variety of like restaurants and things to do. But at the end of the day, I love the culture, the cultural aspect of Jamaica a lot more. And so if I want to live here full time, I think I love the convenience of being able to go back and forth. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't get taken away from me this 4 years.
Yeah, with this president.
Right.
Yeah, I think that this is off topic, but I think Trump is going to reverse, or states will reverse, any kind of immigration policy, because those are our workers. Those are the people who are cutting our grass. Those are the people who are painting our houses. Those are the people who are doing all of the, not in the home because we can't afford it, but the ones that are doing it outside of the home, in the restaurants, the dishwasher in the restaurant, the bus boy.
But that's the culture of Jamaicans. If you come here, and you're not like a worker, you come as a household person, and that's where you get your starts, and then maybe you start school and you go be a nurse or something. But I have so many friends, my mom has done it, I have so many friends who we've gone to college together, but you come here and you start nannying, babysitting. That's your first little job until you get your papers and can do real jobs or whatever, but that's the culture, as you say. And so because we are used to Jamaican prices, we come here and we charge what we think. I'm there wooly for money, my work, little do we know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, people are, because it's so expensive. The housing is so expensive. I know people paying $5,000 a month. Now they do have a large house, but it's like thousands of dollars a month in housing. And then your car could be another $1,000.
Oh,
I've heard of people paying $600, $700, $800 for just the payment, just the car payment.
And then there's insurance and all these
insurance,
other things.
which could be another $200. Then there's gas. Then there's maintenance.
Yeah.
So you're spending $1,200 a month on your car,
crazy.
plus $3,000 for your house. So that is what, $4,200?
I was looking at these beautiful high-rises down in downtown Miami, and I asked my friend, I was like, what would it be like to rent somewhere right here with these big, beautiful balconies? And he was like, oh, maybe $4,000 for a studio. I was like, what?
For a studio?
For a studio. Like, what? That is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, and so most people, their money just goes to bills. And then
it does sound exhausting.
You don't have money for help.
Yeah. Or fun. Yeah, I realized that a lot of my friends, they live for those 3-day weekends to actually try and have some fun. Like, weekends are just engrossed in domestic activities.
Yeah.
We have a thing called Sunday Fun Day, and Americans don't get Sunday Fun Days. Sundays are for the beach or something else.
Yes. Yeah, that is literally the reason I started my channel. Is just to research culture in other places, because everyone who moves, they always seem so much happier. They're like, oh my gosh. Number one is the stress, like the financial stress. So they're not financially stressed, because if you have any kind of remote job, or if you have any kind of online business, or just any income streams, like you have a property that you rent out, or you have just a small bit. If you can make even 3,000 US, you can go
And
to
live
a
much
lot,
better life
a lot
somewhere
of different
else.
places and live a much better life. So your financial stress is lessened. And then if you have kids, it's like a different world. It's like a different world with the help that you can hire out. And then on top of that, people feel more comfortable. I think it's racially, like they don't feel so much.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Because that is an attention that I have here too. Because I was just thinking in my head, like, you know, whenever we get into these diaspora wars on Twitter, one of the insults always thrown to Caribbeans is that, you know, you have to come to, why don't you stay in your country? Why are you coming to America? And you're coming to America for the financial benefit that you can get, which, you know, the Caribbean countries are small. The opportunities are going to be smaller here. But I think most people will admit that when you come to America, you are coming for financial opportunity, but the quality of life is not the same.
Yeah.
It is not the same. A lot of people come here, they're lonely, they're stressed,
Yeah.
they have to be working 2 jobs. It is.
Yeah.
So people who are here and are moving out the country, the birds just did a thing, it was so beautiful. People who are American and moving out the country are realizing that your quality of life can be so much better. Like, you don't have to settle for this go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And I think then when people ask me if I would stay here, I'm just like, because as someone trying to build, like, I guess a social media business, there are a lot more opportunities here. You know, the brands, they want US based people, but I don't know if that's enough of a pull for me to stay. Yeah.
Kids, it's different having kids here. You don't always have the village. People in their 60s are working full-time jobs every day, and then they're tired. They don't have time to be watching your kids. Like, I am tired. I went to work too.
Let's talk about food. Being here in America, I as an immigrant, if I were to live here, I would have to learn what's food and what's not. What's food, and I will pick up chicken breast and I go home to eat it and I realize that it tastes like plastic. Like, is this a hormone? So I'm realizing now that I have to either shop in certain stores or look for certain labels. I can't just pick up chicken breast. Like, I can pick up any shop I go into in Jamaica, I just pick up chicken breast and I know what it is. But there are different levels to even chicken breast here. I don't want to get pumped with hormones.
Yeah.
Like, everybody who migrates, they're immediately changed.
Yeah.
And it would have to be a learning thing to figure out how to eat and not blow up if I were to stay here. And then if I get sucked into that hustle culture where I'm not cooking as much, then that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That's going to be a problem.
Even cooking is a drain, because it's like people are so tired. It's like you can't do anything else. You know what it is too? It's the driving. So some people have an hour drive to go to work, and then an hour drive to come home. So then you're looking at like your 8-hour day, which sometimes it's not really an 8-hour day. Sometimes it's a 9-hour day, because they don't pay you for lunch. So then it's like 9 hours, and then plus 2 hours for driving. So you're looking at an 11-hour day, and you're like, done.
And so you go home and you have children you still have to feed, so you draw for these convenience foods. I just saw something come across my timeline about instant noodles and the effects it has on our brain, and I was just like, oh, because my daughter, she loves bulldog noodles, and I'm like, oh, we gotta cut that out. And I'm just like, but how do you say that to a mom who just had an 11-hour day, to be like, no, I'm gonna now have to cut up fresh veggies and cook an actual meal.
Yeah.
So the food in Jamaica, I will say that, I mean, I prefer it not, I'm not talking about a taste or even a cultural difference right now. I'm talking about just being able to discern what's food and what's not. A lot of it's too much convenience. It's too much convenience in America. And the convenience is affecting us somewhere else. It's affecting our health, it's affecting our weight, it's affecting our mental, because the food is causing like neurological things in our brain. And so that is a big red flag for me when it comes to like if I were to stay here long term.
Yeah, there are packaged goods like candies that have food coloring in them, like red number 5, blue number
Things
40.
that are banned elsewhere in the world.
Banned. My mom just came back from London and she brought my daughter some gummies because my daughter loves gummies. So I looked at the back. The ingredients for black currant, lemon, carrot, like all of these natural flavors they use to make the coloring of it, because it's still yellow, red, purple, but it's with natural flavoring, so to produce that color. Here I look at the same manufacturer and it was like red number 40, blue number 5, which are neurotoxins. And so our government in the United States does not care if you put poison in our food. They're fine with that.
And then that weighs down on the health system, and then you're just like, ugh, because they're wondering if all of these, what do you call them, neurological diseases are just now becoming more popular because we have more access to testing. To me, I'm like, look at the foods that we've been eating. That they must be having some effect on us. So I don't know, but yeah,
I never thought about that one. Like the neurodivergent.
Right. That whole spectrum. And it's getting caught on the thing. Good. I really and truly think that might be linked to some of the foods that we've been taking for granted. Like they're now saying that seed oils are even more dangerous than sugar. And that's crazy to me because we grew up using vegetable oil for every single thing.
Yeah.
So
my mom still does.
No vegetable oils. So yeah.
Yeah, it is different. I think the best plan is to move here, save some money, or if you can create an online business, even better. And then
because so many of my friends have that plan. I'm gonna move to America, make some money, go back home. You come, you get sucked up in the system. You can't leave as easily or as quickly as you thought.
Yeah.
So I think that's my fear. I don't want to come and get sucked up in the system, get credit, buy a house, buy a car. Oh, now I can't leave. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Or meet somebody here that doesn't want to go.
Right. Oh no, that is top of my criteria. So when I'm dating now, travel is so high on my criteria that person would never fly. Because even if you don't want to move back to Jamaica, travel has to be a thing for you. Because I'm about to be an empty nester. I'm not about to sit in no house 9 to 5 like 24 hours for the day. I am about to start living my best life, taking planes like buses. Hopefully they stop falling out of the sky as often as they have been. But yeah, I'm about to get my best travel life on, so I don't think that I would ever be with a person who's not interested in travel. And I definitely don't want to be with someone who wants to retire here in America.
No, yeah. It's too expensive.
Not when there's sweet, sweet Jamaica to go back home to. I mean, that is a thing. So that is a negative. A lot of people who come here and they settle here and they get used to a certain way of life, they don't want to go back home because they hear about the crime in Jamaica, which is a thing. I cannot deny it. I think I'm not far removed as yet where it startles me as much, because I visit Jamaica every single year. I still know how to move. You know what I mean?
I mean, how dangerous I was watching a YouTuber in Jamaica, and she went to the market, and she was saying how everybody told her to be careful, not to take her phone out, and to put her money in her bra, don't carry a purse. And it's the market. There's a lot of people around. What can really happen?
I mean, to be honest, if you go to Italy, they tell you the same precautions. And so I hate when people make it seem as if it's a Jamaica thing, you know what I mean? Because the pickpocket thing in Spain is crazy. And so you're taking the same precautions. You're putting in your jewelry, you're hiding your phone, you're wearing your backpack to the front. I would do the same thing if I'm getting on the subway in New York. So it's there. You have to watch out when you're in the markets for pickpockets, for people who are trying to steal something. And so you go to the market not being flashy. That's all it is. You don't want to take your phone out. You don't want to have jewelry on. And then there's this thing called the uptown tax, where if you speak a certain way in the market, they're going to know that you don't know what the prices are, so they're going to inflate it a bit. The gringo tax is what they call it in Mexico. It's everywhere, you know what I mean? And so it's crime, but it's petty crime in the markets. I'm saying there's nobody who's going to come and actually hurt you.
Yeah.
But if they see you with things, they might try to take it. And that's not just Jamaica. So
That's true.
for a returning resident, you know, people are afraid to return because they hear a lot about people attacking returning residents. They think that you're coming with money, you know, to retire on.
This never makes sense to me. Like, do you think the money is on my body? What? It's in the bank.
The thing with the returning residents thing, though, is a lot of it is either family members who are attacking. Yeah. It's a lot of it is familial, or sometimes it's very unfortunate that you might have like a gardener or a taximan, somebody driving you around, who think that you really and truly have money. I don't know how they expect to get it when
Right.
they hurt you, but yeah. So I get the returning resident fear, and so that's another reason why I think I don't want to remove myself so far from Jamaica where I can't go. I feel like I'm afraid to go back. Yeah. So that's why I make sure I go back every year, because I don't ever want to be afraid of my own country. I love Jamaica, and I do want to retire there. I want a little beach hut somewhere. It doesn't have to be a big flat fancy Mar-a-Lago, but I do want a little beach house somewhere on the north coast, probably.
Like by Negril?
North central, so maybe like St. Mary, St. Anne. St. Mary, I think I've always loved St. Mary. For its coastal homes, or even like up in the hills where I can still see the sea, but it's not like right there. But yeah, I think that's what I want. What about you? Where do you want to retire?
I have no idea. So I'm just doing research now. I'm going all over the world.
Yeah.
Okay, you can find me on at Tiffany Ventries, but all over the world, just Mexico. Because then, okay, I talk to people in Mexico, and they're like, you can't flush the toilet paper.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is a trade-off that I don't know.
The thing is
I
that
don't
they will
know.
tell you that, and then we foreigners go there and be bad, because I don't think I've ever done the not flush toilet paper thing.
I don't even know how it works. I'm like, so where do you put it? Not in the garbage. So
It is supposed to go in the garbage.
I gotta find a developed nation with probably a fraction of the US dollar. I can't go more than $1.
Yeah.
So I can't go Europe. I probably won't go Europe. But like Colombia, I think they're developed enough where you can flush the toilet paper and it's still lower prices.
Panama is good too, because I think that if I don't retire in Jamaica, it would have to be somewhere that has some amount of Jamaica in it. And Panama is a big one.
It is so hot there though. No, truthfully, it is so hot. It is humid. It is so humid in Panama. Colombia in Medellin, it's supposed to be like great weather, eternal spring,
Yeah.
like this.
I've never been to Medellin. Bogota was way too cold for
Cold.
every day for me.
Yeah.
So maybe Medellin would be
A good in the
Yeah.
middle.
yeah.
But
maybe.
Panama, I like Panama. I like the food. The pricing was good. Even though it's American pricing,
Yes.
it's still a little, I still thought it was less.
For me, that's why I didn't stay longer in Panama, because I'm like, this is Jamaica prices.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. But it was okay. It was just way too hot. I was like, oh my God. The people even, you saw them after 6 o'clock. After 6 p.m., the locals would come out and they would go to the,
Yeah, like in Mexico where I was in Merida, because Merida's so hot.
oh
but
my God,
at
that's
night,
another one.
At night, everyone came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Merida's too hot for retirement.
It's so hot. Yeah. All year round. Florida is hot in the summer.
Yeah, I would probably be that woman chasing spring. You know how people chase summer? I'm chasing spring.
Yeah.
So when it gets too hot, I'm like, okay, we're next.
That's another thing with Jamaica, is it's with global warming,
it's getting hotter.
It's just hotter and hotter and hotter.
It's definitely getting hotter. But in Jamaica, you still have some reprieve. You can go live up in the hills if you want to. Well, this was a great convo again, Tiffany. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
We've got to catch up sometime in Jamaica. She laughs. Like, I ain't coming down there, girl.
It's on my plan. It's on my list. I get influenced by people who say it's so dangerous.
Oh,
and
no.
then I'm like, ah.
It's not. And it's even better if you have a local tour. Maybe I should start a little tour business when I go down. Because if you have someone who knows the ins and outs, you're fine.
Yeah.
But even if you go and you're on the resorts and you take the resort tours, then you're fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, you want to go outside and get the culture. And if you want to go to Kingston, Kingston is where it's at. Don't be afraid of Kingston, guys. Kingston is where it's at. You just don't want to go, like, if I'm going to New York, I wouldn't go in certain neighborhoods. It's the same thing in Kingston. Stay in the city center. Yeah, try to call a big word. Stay in the city center. Don't go anywhere that's too sketchy and you'll be fine.
Okay.
That's all, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments down in the comment section below. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you so much to Tiffany for joining me again, and I will see you all in the next one.